Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for today's Healthline 3. I'm Courtney Butts, your host, and Healthline 3 is where we like to focus on ways to live a healthier, happier, and pain-free life. We'll be taking your calls and answering your questions live in the studio today. We'll be opening those phone lines soon, but as a reminder, make sure you're in a quiet room when you call, with your TV turned all the way down so that we can hear your question. That number to call is 318-219-4569. That number will be on your screen. And today's topic is weight loss and wellness. Joining me to talk about that is Irina Haskatas and Catherine Rogers with Shed It Weight Loss and Wellness right here in Bossier City. Thanks for joining us. We also have another special guest with us today. If you want to introduce me, Irina.
Yeah, thank you for having us again, Courtney. So today we brought our special guest, Becky. Becky is an actual patient at Shed It. She started her weight loss journey with us in February, and she's going to share her experience today with us.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Becky, for being here. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Wouldn't have missed it.
Awesome. Okay, and real quick, Irina, you are owner of Shed It Weight Loss and Wellness,
Yes,
and
correct.
Catherine, you're their PA or physician assistant, so you kind of help dose the medications and things like that. Very cool. So, yeah, if we want to just jump right in with Becky, tell us a little bit about your experience with Shed It.
Well, I was basically referred to Shed It by my primary care physician, and I had tried everything under the sun, and basically had what I refer to as a schizophrenia of food voices in my head, always telling me to eat, that I wasn't satisfied, I wasn't full. And it was just nerve-wracking, and I would in turn take it out on myself by eating more, which wasn't good. So my primary care physician knew that this was of utmost concern to me, my health, and she basically recommended Shed It, said that she had also referred some other patients to Shed It.
Right.
And I went ahead and walked right in about the middle of February.
Right.
And they immediately hooked me up with Catherine. She was great. We had a consult, and she assessed my needs. There was no hesitation on her part to recommend a program.
Yeah.
And Irina and the staff were just very friendly, very hands-on. So it's just been a wonderful experience, and I've been going steady since about the middle of February now.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, and consistency is so important. We talk about that a lot with you ladies. And so what do you feel like has helped you stay so consistent?
Well, I basically take semaglutide injections, and I take these weekly, and then I come in for a monthly checkup, and the injections are wonderful. But you really need to mind your nutrition with these. It's key. You have to really want this. You have to be vigilant. You have to do all the things that you would do. Normally you would hydrate. I exercise quite a bit, and all these things kind of go hand in hand. Had I not done the extra work, the shots in and of themselves have quieted the noises, and they've been wonderful. But I don't know that I would have lost the 40+ pounds this soon,
Right.
had I just done the injections alone.
Awesome. And so, yeah, you've lost 40 pounds. That's incredible.
Thank you, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, and you mentioned you've tried everything. So is this
Everything.
the first thing that's actually worked?
Correct. And I'm pairing a nutrition program with it. And of course, Shed It can offer that for you if you want to go in that direction. I had something that I was utilizing which worked for me. And I was also a member of a gym, so that helped out a great deal. But they have a fit 3D scanner, body scanner, and every time that I come, you go in by yourself, you log in, it's seamless. It calculates everything for me. It tells me my measurements, it tells me how much I've lost, and then it it sends it to my email, and I can print it and have side-by-side monthly comparisons and see my progress. So it's wonderful. Very accurate.
Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about how far you've come with
Yes.
Shed It. Are you still, what's your ultimate goal?
Well, I told Catherine day one I had a lofty goal, 100 pounds in a year.
Wow.
But that's doable. It's extremely doable, and I'm almost halfway there,
Right.
and the year's not even halfway over. So from when I started, so I feel so much better. I feel energy. You have to give yourself grace in this process too, because it's not an overnight situation. And the ladies, like I said, I felt so comfortable, and I just immediately felt like I was where I needed to be. And Catherine has been just, wonderful. Every time I come in, she does a progress check, make sure that has anything changed. I let her know if there's any differences, but so far so good.
Yeah, and I love that you said that you gave yourself grace, that it wasn't just overnight, and weight loss is never linear a lot of times. So yeah, that's really important to keep in mind. Even with weight loss injections, it's not going to be overnight, especially if you're doing it right. So Catherine, real quick, tell me a little bit about semaglutide. So you're taking the injections weekly. Tell me a little bit about what they do. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know about them now, but tell me exactly how they work.
Yeah, so we offer the compounded GLP medicines, the semaglutide and the tirzepatide. Those both work on enzymes in your pancreas. They help to produce more insulin. They better regulate your blood sugar. So after you have meals, it helps your body to regulate that blood glucose better. It helps to regulate hormones, and they actually work by slowing your stomach and your GI motility, so you physically feel fuller sooner and longer. Kind of how she was saying, they help quiet food noise.
Exactly.
That goes along with that glucagon hormone. So basically, they're working in an array of different ways to help you to feel fuller sooner and longer, and then also to help just your body chemistry, your body to recognize food and know how to store it and process it better.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so there's semaglutide and tirzepatide. Which one was recommended for you specifically, Becky?
The semaglutide, and I deferred to Catherine because the first day I had heard about many of these from my primary care physician for one, but I deferred to her and told her basically how I was feeling, what some of the struggles I was going through, and she immediately laid out a recommendation. They have packages that they offer, and she laid out a recommendation of which one she thought would be best. And you start small,
Right.
with the lowest injection, and you're on that for however long you both deem that it's you're good with that dose, and then you can always ramp up a little bit.
Right.
So the semaglutide is worked wonderfully, and I give myself the injections, but they offer to do it as well, their assistants. So
Yeah, especially if you don't like the injections.
I was nervous at first, but
yeah.
it's seamless. Just it's the tiniest pinprick. Is that?
Oh, well, that's good to
And
know.
they give you
especially
your
for
little
people.
package,
Yeah.
so it's great.
And I don't think I knew that you guys will do it for them. So that's
yeah.
awesome.
If there is patients who do not feel comfortable injecting themselves at home, they can come in for free and see our medical assistant Mackenzie, and she helps them.
Okay, yeah, especially if you're like, ooh, needles freak me out,
Yep, that
But-
would be me.
Okay. Well, and then you also do the pill form now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
We have oral semaglutide now as well,
Okay,
Yeah.
and just semaglutide?
and Qsymia.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have. We have 2 oral options. Technically, a little bit more than that, but I would say Qsymia is probably the most common one that we have.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, a lot of times people talk about how expensive these medications are. So Becky, if you don't mind talking about, what how this decision, came about, and I'm sure you had to think of all these different things when you made this decision.
Right, and I was basically diagnosed as pre-diabetic. I was 2 points away from being diabetic, and the insurance would have
Okay.
paid for that.
Yeah.
So that was another reason that the primary care physician thought that Shed It would be a wonderful alternative. So I was nervous about the financial part. Having said that, I was willing to do just about anything. And when I came to Catherine and sat down with her, and I had seen a list, she showed me a list of packages that were available, but she recommended the package that I would go with, and I thought it was extremely reasonable. So
That's awesome.
I was very happy with that, and I happened to come in during a special, which was great.
Yeah.
And certain times of the year they offer
Right.
those as well. So
Right, and then, so let's say someone is at home on the fence about starting these medications or working with Shed It. Tell me a little bit about before and after. So how you felt before and how you feel now, and I'm sure that these kind of testimonials, and we've got some pictures here too, that I'm sure other patients feel the same way as you do, Becky.
I was lethargic. I was depressed. I avoided mirrors at all cost. I couldn't even go to the gym, and I would, again, these food voices that I referred to were always telling me that I was hungry, even when obviously I wasn't and couldn't have been. So the before, and I had no energy and no drive whatsoever. The after effects, since I've been on Shed It and doing this package, working with Catherine and Arena and the staff, it's been like night and day. I feel energetic. When I go to the gym, I even managed to do a 5K, which was huge for me. It was on a treadmill, mind you, but still, that was
still
huge.
great.
That was huge progress for me. So I managed to do that. I feel better about myself. You know, every success that you have, you know, your clothes feel better, and you feel more social, more gregarious. So I just enjoy just the changes that this whole process has brought me, and I couldn't have gotten here without this company. So I can't say enough about it.
What's really cool that I'm hearing you say is all of these non-scale victories, as we say, you know, like you've lost the 40 pounds, and that's a great accomplishment in and of itself, but you feel better about yourself, you're probably sleeping better, you just feel more confident walking into a gym from where you were before, you're energized. And so I think that that's huge, that a lot of people, you know, you initially you think about the aesthetics. I want to look better. I want to have that smaller number. But, you know, all these non-scale victories are just as important, if not more important, than that number on the scale.
Absolutely.
You know?
Things like reversing pre-diabetes, you know, Healthline, you know, health-wise, other things that are going to come of this whole journey too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's so awesome. Well, cool. So we always talk about the side effects of these drugs. So tell me, Catherine, the typical side effects, and then Becky, I'll get you to talk about your specific ones.
So typical side effects are all going to be GI related. Some people get, you know, because it is slowing that GI system. So nausea, some people get heartburn. More commonly, people get constipation. But on the other side, if people eat something that doesn't settle right, they can have some diarrhea. So really just any sort of GI side effect are going to be the most common effects from these medicines.
Yeah.
And we do have obviously ways that, you know, whenever we sat down the first time, things that we talked about, counseled on how to avoid those kind of things.
Were you nervous about these side effects at all?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Because I do have a very puny gastro system, so I was a little worried, but I also knew, because I had been doing proper nutrition a couple of weeks before, so I felt better about it, and that's why that's key as well. And hydrating is extremely important. So I haven't had any side effects.
That's awesome.
You know, I understand it varies with the individual, like Catherine said, and I was anticipating, I was ready, but it's been great.
Yeah.
Just really a great experience.
That's so great. Okay, so Irina, we love talking about the Fit 3D body scanner.
Yeah.
So give me an overview of what it is, and anybody can come and use it. Right?
Correct. Yeah, that is correct. It's not just for our patients. We accept walk-ins. They have to pay a small fee of $40. But you can basically come in every month and track your progress. It's great for people who already go to the gym and work out and just want to see how their muscle mass changes. But I think it's a great tool for everybody. So it's basically a stand. You stand on, preferably in your underwear. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable undressing, but they're alone in the room. If they do not want to get dressed down, they can also wear like tight-fitting leggings. But you want something tight to make sure that you really see the contours of the body. And then it spins you around in a circle and takes about 3,000 seconds 3,000 pictures a second.
Wow.
And creates an avatar of you. So I mean, this avatar is not the prettiest because you really see everything, like every tiny little fold you see. And but also over time you see how these folds get smaller or disappear, and this is the motivating part. And not only that, it also tells you all the measurements, like it measures your neck, your hip, your waist, your arms, your thighs. Also calculates your muscle mass and your lean like your muscle mass and your fat mass. It calculates your metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate, which is great, so you know how much calories you could technically eat.
Yeah.
And I really recommend this tool to everybody. It's the best tracking tool ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, and Becky, you've used it.
I use it monthly when I come in. I mean, I just walk right back there. They'll, you put a do not disturb on the thing, you lock the door, you're in there by yourself. As Irina said, it's totally non-intimidating. You go in, you do your thing, you log in, and again, they send you the results via email. So it's perfectly private.
Right.
And it does capture every nook and cranny, but you need that. That's how you can compare and see, your muscle mass and what's changed from
So have you seen a difference in your composition as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So increased muscle.
Yep.
Awesome.
And your BMI, your body mass index. I mean, it measures everything.
That's great. And so we talked about inches. Do you know about how many inches you've lost? I mean, it's
well, let's just put it this way. I will say that I started out in a 2XL size, which is a plus, 18 to 20. For the plus ladies out there, and I am now down to a size large in ladies.
Awesome.
So and depending on how it is, I can wear some mediums.
Yeah.
So I'm just totally excited.
That's
and
so
you
cool.
feel better, when you pick out new clothes.
Yeah. So it's probably been a fun experience for you to go, and
it's been a great experience. And I mean, I look forward to continuing because I'm a work in progress, as we all are.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes it's a little bit more motivating maybe to see your Fit 3D body scan over time.
Yeah.
Because the number, you're going to fluctuate, your weight's going to fluctuate, and it's, I always say it's kind of like the stock market. It goes up and down, and sometimes you have a very good understanding of why, and other days you have no idea why. And so yeah, it's good to have that measurement as well in your back pocket. Very cool. Okay, so what is it that you like the most about Shed It, Becky?
I think I really look forward to my monthly visits, honestly, because I can touch base with Catherine. They can actually see me and see my progress, because you see yourself every day, but when I come monthly, they can look in on me, and I get a chance to use the scanner, which I love. It's a love-hate thing, but
yeah, I agree.
but I'm loving it, and also at that time they go ahead and you renew. In a way, you go ahead and pay for your next month of injections, and they give you, in a little pouch, your 4 pre-loaded syringes, and they even go as far as to give you the little alcohol swab, so I can,
Cool.
The injection site.
Right, so it's wonderful.
It's all ready for you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so with your long-term goal of 100 pounds, there is the dreaded plateau.
Right.
So I'm sure that y'all have talked about that. Like, what is kind of that plan moving forward?
Well, for me, plateaus are a reality. They happen. And as a matter of fact, even though Shed It weighs me monthly, I weigh myself weekly because of my nutrition plan. And I've been in a plateau for the past 2 weeks. And I push myself every week. So the past 2 weeks, I fluctuated between, a half pound but that's where the grace part comes in too, because you know that it's going to happen. And you can't realistically expect, even with semaglutide or anything else, that every single week you're going to lose. It's just not going to happen. I mean, your body adjusts, it gets so comfortable with where it is. So that's where Catherine comes in, because when I do these monthly things, if I say, Catherine, I'm kind of stuck, then she can adjust the dosage accordingly. And I've adjusted once so far since I've been coming, and we may adjust again. But she stays on it with me. So,
and I love that it's very stepwise. It's not just, oh, we're going to put you on a very high dose.
You want to start small. You really want to start small.
So that's good to know. And not everybody will probably do that. There's weight loss centers popping up everywhere, and so it's really cool that you guys have this individualized approach. Yeah. Well, okay, so Catherine, I have a question for you. I know we kind of talked about this. So tirzepatide and semaglutide, they're two different forms of the GLP-1 agonist, right?
Yes.
And so what is maybe the difference between them, and does one work better than the other? There was kind of a study that came out on Monday.
Yeah, a pretty recent study they just did. So the semaglutide is working on one of those receptors in the pancreas. The tirzepatide is actually specific to two. So as they do more research on these, the studies are having more longevity and stuff. I think tirzepatide is actually pulling out in front as shown to be a little bit more effective. So they've shown, they compared, I think, over a year, and they said, I think it was 67% of people on semaglutide had lost X amount of weight, but it was 82 or something like that percent of the tirzepatide. So I think that as we continue to see just more longevity of these studies, that tirzepatide is starting to be more of the front runner on weight loss for long term.
And we mentioned earlier that it's very individualized in each patient. You put them on either semaglutide or tirzepatide. How do you kind of make that decision?
Some of it is more cost effective. The semaglutide is a little bit, or a little less expensive. Sometimes if we start people on semaglutide, and if they have a bunch of those GI symptoms, or if we do semaglutide and get into a plateau, so it's different patient by patient on where we start versus how we treat everything. So
yeah, makes sense. Very cool. Okay, so who qualifies for these weight loss injections typically? I don't know if Irina, if you want to answer that.
Really anybody over 18. We do not treat pregnant women, obviously. But other than that, older than 18.
Yeah, okay.
And of course there is some health history that we need to look into, like there's a specific form of medullary thyroid
so
disease.
People who have obesity qualify. They've been shown to do well with high blood pressure, people with coronary artery disease, PCOS, diabetes, prediabetes, all these different, I think we've talked before about just metabolic syndrome and all these metabolic conditions. The only people who cannot be on it are people with a history or a family history of medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2.
Gotcha.
I also try to ask if people have had a history of pancreatitis and things like that, because severe cases or severe side effects of these can cause things like that. So it's always, like I've said before, a thorough medical, examination and history, and then seeing what's most appropriate for each person.
Yeah, and I'm sure Becky had all those questions asked her at the very beginning. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so what other services does Shed It offer than
we
just weight
also
loss?
offer hormone consultations. We offer bioidentical hormone replacement therapy at Shed It. And we also do gallery cancer screening to be proactive in cancer care.
Awesome. Yeah, so you don't, if you're not interested in the weight loss injections at this time, then you do offer, the cancer screening and the hormone replacement, which is kind of I feel like a lot more people are willing to talk about that nowadays. So
yes.
Well, we do have a caller on the line. Kathy, thanks for joining us, and what's your question? You there, Kathy? Okay. Well, never mind. Well, if you're just joining us, you can give us a call real quick, 318-219-4569. We've got just a couple of minutes. We'd love to hear from you. And then you also, we just wanted to throw it in there, Gladiator Men's Health. This is another endeavor that you have.
Yeah, we just opened Gladiator Men's Health. And this is basically addressed to middle-aged men, because almost all those clinics out there address middle-aged or younger females. But we created a safe place for men that need help with low testosterone treatment, that need to work with ED or just improve their erectile function. Of course, we also offer weight loss, since we have all the experience from Shed It. Hair restoration therapy, human growth factor therapy, and we also offer the gallery cancer screening at Gladiator.
Awesome. And I love that you always say too at Gladiator, it's like men's only.
Correct.
So,
men only allowed. Yep.
So it's a safe space for men as well.
Correct.
And then Shed It is kind of, you distinguish between the color doors, right? Okay,
correct.
Remind me.
Shed It is the purple door, and Gladiator is the gray door.
Okay, pretty easy. There we go. And they're both, the website is right there on your screen, 2211 Shed Road. Gladiator's Suite A, and you guys are at
Shed It is Suite B, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, right in the same building. Cannot miss it. If you get lost, of course, we can help you find the right clinic.
Well, that is easy enough. Okay, so we've got a couple more minutes. So Becky, tell me a little bit more about just your experience with Shed It, and how you felt before and how you felt after, just as a recap.
Well, it's literally been, it's a night and day thing for me. It's been, I was not the same person before that I am now, not only weight-wise, but energy-wise, and how I felt internally, and working with them. It's a safe environment for you to go. You feel like you're not judged. They've seen it all.
Yeah.
So when I walked in, I didn't feel bad at all. Self-conscious. I just wanted to, I was enthusiastic, and I wanted to see what they offered, and I wanted to jump on it.
Yeah.
So
I remember you kind of walking in and saying, I'm at my wit's end. I've been diagnosed with prediabetes. I've tried everything,
Yep.
Help me. And she was frustrated but motivated all at the same time. And like she was saying, every time I see her, nutrition dialed in, exercise dialed in. You ran a 5K that day. You just really, really have been just a joy and like a model patient to be able to treat.
She's a real model patient. She really
but you
is.
can just tell the difference even in just her spirit from the first time she came in to now every time we see her. She's a just
maybe I can come back and show 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's my goal. Love that.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's remember to do that. Yep.
Absolutely. So, and even just from what you said at the very beginning, you had all this food noise.
Yes.
And how do you feel like
Terrible.
just real quick, your relationship with food, how has that improved?
I feel, I don't fear food anymore. I embrace what's good, and I can still have things that normally I backed away from, but I've just learned when and how much, to incorporate them into my diet.
That's awesome. And that's a huge win, too.
Huge,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well,
it's
great.
life-changing, really.
Life-changing. Love that. Okay, we've got about a minute left. Tell us where we can find Shed It, your phone number, and if someone's interested today, what's the best way they can get hold of you?
So Shed It is located in Bossier. The address is 2211 Shed Road in Suite B. It's the purple door. You can find us on social media at Shed It on Shed Road on Facebook and Instagram, and our number is 318-746-3880. We open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m.
Awesome. And if you are just joining us and you missed all of this, no worries. We'll have all of this on our website at ktbs.com/healthline, the number 3. And we'll have all of that information as well. If you're interested in working with Shed It, we have all of that information there. And you can watch this whole episode if you're just tuning in and hear Becky's story and her life-changing story, I guess we should say. And again, thanks for joining us for your brand new Healthline 3. We'll be back to do it again later this week.